Good morning, everyone from Australia and New Zealand, and thanks Madanji for your such a eye-opener presentation on this issue where the whole world is burning. And first of all, my thanks to Ayush Valley, who has made such a great effort to make the world aware about the issues what every human being is now facing. And in this such issues, what can be done through this ancient science? And I'm very honored to be part of this webinar today. And the way Madanji has explained the scientist mind and the Western world or Western science is looking into such issues as they have done for all the ailment. But the situation where the world has been put into today, what is Ayurvedic thought on that? What is Ayurvedic approach on that? And why we end up into today's situation. And we will all be, I'm sure many of you must have heard in many different platforms that today's situation has been well described even in Ayurveda centuries and centuries ago, that such situations one can end up. So as Madanji advised me to talk about myself first of all, even though that is not important for us, the important is our present topic. And I know all of you are present today and joined us to know what Ayurveda can talk about and what Ayurveda can offer. So just briefly about me, I'm an Ayurvedic doctor with 42 years of clinical experience now. Yes, I am also on the same age bracket where Madanji is saying that more vulnerable to those kind of problems in life. But I will definitely share that why that is vulnerability is there. Ayurveda talk about that. And if we could have listened to Ayurveda, we could have changed it totally upside down. And we still can do that. So coming back from this science, I moved to Australia and New Zealand are my two houses. So it become a little bit difficult to say where I am and where I'm not. And for last 26 years in these two countries, I am practicing and teaching Ayurveda. And I am very proud to share with all of you that this ancient science is recognized in these two countries by official governments, local governments, and are allowed to practice as an Ayurvedic medicine. And these are the only two countries in the world where official courses are approved by these local national governments. So we run two courses in Australia and New Zealand. Australia is our main hub for teaching, where people are very, very receptive to Ayurveda. And in New Zealand and Australia, when we talk about the practice perspective, people are very much open to Ayurveda only because of its that holistic approach. Whereas one thing I would like to share before we go further into that, what's happening. Many of us look towards Ayurveda as a herbal modality. We look at Ayurveda sometime as a last resort that, okay, I have suffered from this particular ailment, whether it is serious cancer ailment or even simple hay fever, and nothing has come up. So let's try this jadi booty sort of things, what we talk about in Ayurveda. But Ayurveda has nothing to do with these jadi booties. Ayurveda has nothing to do with the herbs. That is, yes, is a one element, one component of Ayurvedic approach. But what Ayurveda is known for what Ayurveda is all about, it's more holistic approach to well-being, where Ayurveda empower each individual that how you can play a role in your well-being if a situation arises. And today is a situation where the whole world has been put into. But first of all, question comes up, why we get put into this? And you will find that when I will talk about, it will not be surprised that we can still be put into this situation in years to come, again, with a different name. Naming of the diseases has nothing to do with Ayurveda. Ayurveda talk about that how are you going to look into those situations where we have been put into. And for that, Ayurveda clearly advises us, pragya prad, which we call as mistake of intellect. And we know what this mistake of intellect has happened, why this situation has come up. And then if many of you have gone a bit more into Ayurveda, there is a one complete chapter known as Janopadodhvans, where it has been well described that what can happen in the situations where sometime human beings, we the living creature on this universe, start doing wrong things. And that wrong things not necessarily to be talked about any major what this disease is putting up, but in our day-to-day life, that when mistake of intellects are done at a different level, physical, mental, emotional, our whole bodily balance get affected. And that is where the whole problem has happened today. Now, when we end up into this COVID-19 situation, why the world is so much worried today? Because we don't have any so-called medicine for it. And that's what the world is suffering from. Otherwise, no one would have known that there is a new ailment or something. World would have moved the same way. But looking at the situations where we have end up, why we have end up, and how we are in a position or we can today prevent this further problem, is only with the power of our daily and seasonal routine, which has been given to us by this science. Now, someone will ask, okay, what do you mean by power of this daily routines and seasonal routines? Because Ayurveda talk about that each individual has a unique bodily intelligence. And that bodily intelligence, when it is intact, has the ability to flush out all the buildup of the toxin, which can get built in every individual on a day-to-day basis, the wear and tear that happen at a physical, mental, and emotional level. Problem only comes that when your bodily intelligence get affected, then body will not be in a position to flush those toxins out. And those toxins can start accumulating in different areas and lead to one or the other problem. And that is what Ayurveda has given us from the very beginning, that we need to be aware all the time. We don't need to wait for the diseases to come. So when any one of us able to follow our daily routine, seasonal routine, one will be in a position not to suffer from any problem. And even with the COVID-19, you will be more empowered to fight with it. You don't need medicine. You don't need to freak out. You don't need to have the anxiety. As long as we are able to follow those routines and your body is in a position to give you clear message that what is happening in your body. When I say toxin, I'm talking about simple language, but in our Western medicine, we call them free radical substances, which ultimately hamper the whole intelligence of the bodily cells and bodily tissues. So that is where we will be talking about that, what those daily and seasonal routines are, how they can be incorporated just for this present ailment or imbalance what we are facing, but not only for this ailment. These daily and seasonal routines are required for each ailment, that how you can minimize the chances of that problem to go further. And as Madanji have explained us very in detail, that how our Western medicine or our scientists are looking into the stats that where this COVID-19 is affecting. Yes, respiratory system is the one first, but it is not just restricting there, which already is coming up from now the data available, that it is affecting the different other organs. And when we will talk briefly about with the Ayurveda, you will find that how these 7 tissues in Ayurveda, which has been described, can get affected by layer when the problems are building up. And then also Madanji have advised about in one of the slides that diarrhea, dysentery, or those issues which has been looked into, that why these problems are they playing a role there? And you will find and you will be amazed to know that in Ayurveda, power of Agni, power of digestive fire is the key element. And you will be amazed if someone has done an stat that today those people, unfortunately, who are suffering from this problem, I can bet with you 99.9% those people, they have their digestive power, digestive Agni we call it, has been compromised. And why that get compromised? Again, because of our incompatible lifestyle. And that's where the other issue comes up, that the type of the food and type of the lifestyle we are living can actually make more vulnerable. Yes, many scientists have looked into, because that is the need of that hour at the moment, that what kind of problems are happening, what age group. But no one has tried to look into that, yes, where unfortunately millions people have been getting affected by this COVID-19, but at the same time, many are also getting better. Even though there is no medicine for that, medicine is not there for anyone. So those people, how they are recovering, and many are recovering fast, many are recovering a bit slow. So if you will look at from the Ayurvedic perspective, we can clearly state that those people who are recovering, their immune system was or is to some extent more stable. And their immune system has helped them to get better. But question comes up, how we can build immune system? Is there any magic pill I'm going to explain today or talk about, or do we have some Australian herbs or Maori's, New Zealand herbs which I can give you? I can assure you, there is no herb which can just build your immune system if you are not interested to build your own immune system with the help of this knowledge which has been given to us by Ayurveda, what we call as our daily and seasonal routine. So coming into that I will share with you certain routines, certain aspect everyone can look at, that what is happening in my life and how I have to work. So first thing which has been advised by Ayurveda to us, that when you wake up in the morning, I'm not going to go into that what time one should wake up. I will leave that part out, which is very important anyway, but because I'm talking about a pathology and COVID-19, I'm just talking on that part, that even if somehow someone of us unfortunately is affected by that, first thing what you need to look at is the moment your eyes are open, try to get out of the bed and go to bathroom. What for? To brush your teeth and scrape your tongue with a tongue scraper. Now many of us will ask, okay, hang on, what is this? Why you want me to do that? For that, I will ask you to have a look at your tongue in the mirror tomorrow. 99% time you will find that the back part of your tongue always will have a white coating there. What is that white coating? That actually is nothing but the reflection of our health on a day-to-day basis. Reason? that coating actually is nothing but the accumulation of the toxin which our body has produced. But at the same time, body gives us a one chance to eliminate those toxins. That is what the bodily intelligence is all about. But the problem is, if we miss that opportunity and start eating and drinking, no matter how good food we eat, how good things we do, the moment I have done that, those toxins go back into the system, and those toxins are the one which will start depositing in different areas and different tissues and lead us to one or the other problem. Then no matter how good medicine I take, how good exercise I do, how good food I eat, if this process keep happening, it will keep impacting on our immune system. And in Ayurveda, we call it as your ojas. And when the immune system is compromised, that is what our problem comes up. So how, some will ask, okay, what is tongue scraper? Can I do with the brush? So I'm not going to go into detail, but I'm sure every one of you must have seen that this is what the tongue scraper talk about, right? One pledge for your well-being you can make today, that make sure till the day we go to the graveyard, we must do this tongue scraping every day. That will be the one thing you can do for yourself in your life to make your well-being. That's the one thing. Then the second part comes up. Immediately after that, we all should make a simple drink, which we call as simple detox drink. What is that? A glass of warm water. In that you add half teaspoon fresh grated ginger, half teaspoon honey, and half teaspoon lemon juice. Now, someone will ask, okay, why I have to do that? This drink will act as a scraper and flush all the toxins from the gut where all the problems are building up before those toxins get absorbed. How it will work? Ginger acts as a scraper, honey acts as a binder, lemon acts as a flusher. So that becomes simple detox drink. Yes, for each different diseases, we have different ingredients, different herbs which can go into them, but this drink can be taken by every individual, 80-year-old and 18 years old. Every one of us can have that. That is very essential before you start doing anything. Now, the other very important regime in regard to the COVID-19, because we know it is affecting everyone's respiratory system. And how that respiratory system, there are two pathways for the respiratory system. One is your mouth, one is your nose. So nostril is your biggest area through which you are taking this virus in. For that, Ayurveda has advised that every day you must make an effort to do Nasya treatment. What is Nasya treatment? Nasya known as nose. In each nostril, every one of us, after this detox drink, should put 3 drops of cold pressed black sesame oil, make it nice and warm, and then put 3 drops. How we need to do that? You can use this kind of dropper bottle, right? And once you got that bottle, has the oil, make it nice and warm, then put 3 drops there, and then sniff it, and then what this is going to do for my COVID-19 issue? Again, very simply, this oil is going to create a coating in your nasal mucosa. And when the virus is coming up, it will be creating a protective layer and not let it go in. So you are actually totally building up in a big wall to protect yourself from this virus getting in. So that's one of the most important thing which every one of us can do. Then the next regime which everyone should do in this present problem is immediately after that, do gargle. What is gargle and how we have to do that? Just simple, take a glass of warm water, and in that you need to put 1 teaspoon either black salt or Himalayan salt, what we call in our Western world more commonly known as. Now, what is that going to do? I'm sure every one of us know how to do the gargles anyway. So what you need to do is, once you have done that, this again, that warmthness of the water and the salt, which again create a protective layer in the back of your throat and let the whole mucus flush out all the built up which is happening there. because throughout the day you are talking with the friends, you're talking in office, you're talking, so you have a more tendency to take in that virus through your talking also. Yes, you might say that I put the mask, but yes, mask is fine, protective, but you can create one more deeper layer to do this on a daily basis. If you can do 2 times, that will be very helpful. Otherwise, once a day, you must do that for this particular problem. Then the next regime, which is very precise related with that, every night, no matter how busy you are, how good movie you want to see, you must make one effort before you go to bed. You must do steam inhalation. Very simple, but very effective. What is that steam inhalation? You boil 2 liters of water and put 10 drops of eucalyptus oil, cover yourself with a blanket and do 7-minute inhalation. Now what that is going to do, that again going to help you to open up these channels and help to expel the mucus from your lungs. So this way you are not letting that virus to be getting more and more activated, and it help in your breathing more. So you are again creating a more protective layer around that. So that's another regime. Now comes the most important regime, which again relate with our lifestyle, which again in this regime, this problem also going to help you a lot throughout the day. Wherever you are in your daily life, you must make an effort to do 10 to 15 deep, long, slow breath. What that means is just from your deep belly, through your nose and out through nose, in one go, try to do 10 to 15. Reason why you need to do that? Because this virus attacks your respiratory system. Respiratory system means oxygen. So if your body has less oxygen, which is very obvious the way our lifestyle is, 99% time our breathing can be shallow breathing. Now many of us will say that, look, I'm into yoga and I do yogic practices, so my breathing should be very perfect. But in very honesty, because seeing client every day, and many of them are always yoga practitioners, right? Their breathings are always shallow. So what that means is, shallow breathing means you are more vulnerable. Your cells are lacking that vitality. So even if you can incorporate that, that will help a lot. So these are the few regimes for specifically for COVID-19. Now one more important regime comes up. You need to be on a day-to-day basis, keeping an eye what you are eating. That is the crucial part of this whole issue. What that means is, you must make an effort to eat only warm and cooked food. Now, many will say, okay, hang on. The whole life I have heard of that eating salad is wonderful, smoothies are wonderful things, right? And you are now telling me that to eat warm and cooked. How come that can be? Please understand. Try to understand this very simple principle. Whatever you are eating in your day-to-day life, whether you are sick or not sick, or in your optimum state, every food when we eat need to get metabolized before it gives you nutrient to nourish your body. So who is going to cook your food, whatever you have eaten, whether it is your simple vegetable or organic or super organic vegetable, each one has to get metabolized. And now, who is metabolizing my food, whatever I have eaten? In my stomach, hydrochloric acid and the enzymes at a first level in the stomach. Now, what are these hydrochloric acid and enzymes? These are nothing but fire. We call it as digestive fire. Now, when my digestive fire is compromised due to erratic lifestyle or due to various factors, what will happen? Your body will not be able to metabolize your organic salad, and then it is going to produce more toxin, less nutrient. That is how problem comes up. So to make it a little bit less dangerous for us, idea is when I am vulnerable or the surroundings are vulnerable, I must make an effort that I eat warm and cooked, warm and cooked. That should be our mantra, to chant and do that in our daily cooking. Then another aspect comes up. Every one of us in this crisis situation can make a simple detox drink to drink throughout the water if you feel that yes, I can make a little bit extra effort, and that will help us to keep flushing the buildup of the toxins, which can really help to stabilize your immune system. What is that? You just taken a 3 liter of water, and in that you put 1.5 inch of grated ginger, 6 green cardamom, 2 black cardamom, 1 teaspoon of ajwain seed, 1 teaspoon of fennel seed, 1 inch of cinnamon stick, and 1 clove, and boil this water to reduce to 1.5 and then strain. So rather than drinking plain water or cold water or this carbonated water, drink this drink throughout the day. You will find it will improve your digestion and also give you a good clean from your system. And then another regime which is very important in this crisis, many people think in their head that drinking a lot of water will minimize the accumulation of this toxin in my or this virus in my system. And for that, they are drinking 4 liter of water, 3 liter of water, and then making themselves more vulnerable to the problem. Now, someone might ask, okay, hang on, how this can happen? Very simple, because again, when you are just drinking for the sake of drinking, what actually is happening in your system? Again, look at the same thing what I shared 2 minutes before. In our system, we have digestive fire to digest the food. Now look at outside in your house. When you are cooking your food, what you use? You fire to cook the food. Now, say unfortunately there is a fire in my house. To extinguish that fire, what comes in my thought first? Water. So I try to put the fire through water until the fire brigade comes up. Same is happening in our system. So when I'm drinking just for the sake of drinking, what I'm doing is I'm dampening my hydrochloric acid and enzymes. I'm diluting them. So I'm putting the fire off. So what that means is I'm making a one layer of build-up of these problems for my well-being. So when that has happened, it means your tissues will not be getting proper nourishment, and then person will start feeling that, hang on, because I'm all the time feeling thirsty and you are telling me not to drink 3 liter or 5 liter water, how that can happen? But problem is we don't understand that if my tissues are not getting proper nourishment, what means they are hungry and they are asking for nourishment. And when they are asking for nourishment, message goes to our tongue. That is how our system is made. So message will come to the tongue, but message is not coming to make your tongue dry for water. It is asking nourishment. So my crooked intelligence thinking that my tongue is dry, so I need more water. So that's a vicious cycle I'm putting on. And the last point in this relationship, another thing you will find, the people who always drinking too much water, they will also go to toilet frequently. And then they feel that I'm feeling fatigued and tired. It's very obvious. Yes, due to my crooked intelligence, I have thought of drinking too much water. But as I said in the beginning of this talk, that each one has a unique bodily intelligence. Your bodily intelligence know how much water you require in your system. So if I'm putting extra water in my system, what will happen? my bodily intelligence has a system to keep the water metabolism, which is nothing but your two kidneys. Now kidneys has to work extra. So when kidneys are overworking, what happening is it is making the client to go to toilet frequently. But at the same time, kidneys are directly related with our adrenal gland, which is nothing but relate with our immune system. So that's where the person will always feel more fatigued and tired, and you are making your system more and more vulnerable to be attacked by these aspects. So that is where simple aspect of our daily routines and the seasonal routines, which can be incorporated for this unfortunate situation what we are going through. And if all of us can follow them, if we are not following so far, you will see you will have more and more power in your hand and not getting affected with the anxieties and worries and panic attack, which make more vulnerable to us to get affected by these glands. Yes, there are so many Ayurvedic herbs which are much and much more better to stabilize our system, what we call it, to boost our immune system. But as I said, they are of no use if you are not incorporating daily and seasonal routine to make your body more stable. And that's where I will share in today's talk, and I hope that can help everyone. Thank you, Madanji, and thanks everyone.
Thank you, Ajith. Thank you so much. We are very happy for your, thank you so much for sharing. I have one brief question. Could you repeat that formula that you have for the drink that you
Yes. So 3 liters of water, and then 1.5 inch of grated ginger, 6 green cardamom, just open them and put 2 black cardamom, the brown color, we call them black cardamom or badi ilaichi, and then 1 teaspoon ajwain seed, 1 teaspoon fennel seed, and 1 inch of cinnamon, dalchini stick, and 1 clove, and boil it and reduce to 1.5.
What we will do, this sounds like a magical formulation. What we will do, our team will come in touch with you just to take this recipe so that we can put it on our site. So Ajith, one last question before I let you off. How do you find this interaction? You said Australia and New Zealand are 2 locations in the world where there is complete recognition of Ayurveda. Now, a lot of youngsters in India ask this question, you know, we would like to practice Ayurveda in its correct form somewhere in the world, and the world doesn't want it. Could you tell us a little more about how you have seen this in Australia and New Zealand, and what you recommend for a discussion?
Well, Madanji, if I will be very honest, I would like to share that when I came in this part of the world 25 years ago, no one knows what Ayurveda is, right? And whenever I try to go to small talk or on the street corner or somewhere, people think that I'm trying to sell something. But when they start learning, because when I arrived, there were some yoga studios were there. So yoga had made a little bit inroad into our Vedic learning and all that part. So when I start talking about, and then we start picking up a thing, today I can tell you, we have such awareness among our public in Australia and New Zealand. And in Australia now we have more than 150 our own practitioners from our college who are practicing around Australia. Yes, there are definitely few other schools who are practicing Ayurveda, but what public is interested in more traditional principle of Ayurveda, where we talk about more holistic approach, where people are trying to just focus giving supplement of this herbs or ashwagandha, shatavari, brahmi or ganduchi kind of thing. Again, people think that this is something, another kind of naturopathic aspects or something, where the bombardment of the products are there. But when people are listening, and that is why they appreciate that when they feel that they can be empowered for their own well-being, and they have to make some changes and do certain things. When they are given tool to fight with the problem, they feel so satisfied. And when you explain about them, about the food, what they are eating, because what people nowadays listen, smoothies, salad, all these kind of things, either this gluten-free or nightshade-free kind of thing, and still have in their daily diet staple bread, cheese, tomato sauce, tin tomatoes, chips, all those kind of things. And then they wonder why I am not still getting better. And then when you explain them that this is what Ayurveda talk about, and they start following, I can assure you, not months and months, within 4 weeks, people have changed their life. And I thank to God and thanks to Ayurveda that how wonderful principle Ayurveda has given us, and they can change the whole world's well-being, and that's a big satisfaction. And I would love to ask anyone, any Ayurvedic doctor who want to come into these countries, come, but come within a one focus, that you must be following what you want to preach, Ayurveda. Don't try to come just for sake of practicing Ayurveda. You must be a part of Ayurveda in your life. So that's how people want to see that. I think we lost you. Sound is not there.
Sound is not, sorry. Okay, I'm here. Can you hear me? Now,
Yes.
we are about 95, we are about 85 attendees. I hope they will stay with us to the end so that they can ask a few more questions to you. They will all be curious to learn a little more. And I hope it's not too late in New Zealand for you. I hope you
No problem, sir. It's all good.
All good. So thank you so much.